Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. Punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now. I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts, there's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, seen here and produced here out of Indie Music TV. It's Thursday, it's 9 p.m., and we thank you all for joining us yet again. We love you all out there. Maria, 802, Ames, Blue, Chris,
Nice.
Phil.
Yeah.
Everybody. We'll go through the list.
Certainly.
At the producer's bullpen is
That's
the
the
infamous, the famous Matthew Ice.
Heyo.
Matthew, how are you?
Hey, yo. How you doing, Matty? What's
yo.
going on?
I'm doing good. A little spooky.
A little spooky.
Yeah, Phil, tell the people out there, what have you been doing getting ready for Halloween? What's the gimmick you got going on?
So, some friends and I are trying to get cultured and watching some old horror movies, and we started with A Nightmare on Elm Street.
What'd you think of it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah?
The original Nightmare of Elm
Yeah,
Street.
the original one from 1982.
You have any trouble sleeping after seeing it?
A little bit. I was definitely
Honest.
concerned about dreaming.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
movie's a bit of a mind fuck. Sorry, folks, but that's what it
And
is.
at the end, I was definitely thinking about it for a
confused.
bit.
The ending, tell the
cinematography
audience, the
and
ending
everything.
confuses you, right? You don't know whether he died or he...
I don't know, but one of my friends, he spoiled it and did say that the girl lives.
Oh, he ruined it for you. Well, I got
Yeah.
news for you. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is not even close to Nightmare on Elm Street 1, so you're going to
Yeah,
be...
he said we should just skip it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. You know, that's rough, but it's kind of true. What's the next classic, real quick? What are you going on to next?
We're going on to Scream.
Scream is excellent. Why such a big jump? Stay in the 80s. There's some good stuff there.
Well, we had like just a roster of famous killers that we wanted to watch.
Famous killers.
So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Nothing like
He's
a good
into
horror
famous
flick.
killers. Huh?
Honestly,
All right.
you should have opened up with Halloween, but
Yeah,
that's
dude.
my opinion.
We are doing that on Halloween.
All right,
That's
that's fair.
That's perfect.
That's fair.
Excellent. You will not be
So.
disappointed unless you're looking for a bloodbath. If you're looking for suspense and an absolute classic, you'll get that.
I love that.
It's good stuff. What are you doing for Halloween? Did you buy your carton of eggs to throw at people, Mike? You did? Carton of eggs.
Carton of eggs.
You got to be careful what you agree to when you're reading that.
Card of eggs. You got me. He'll have this. Awana Moore says, when I need a nap or want to be lied to, I watch MWF wrestling on Thursday.
What?
What is MWF?
I don't know. What is MWF?
I don't know either.
Should I know what that is?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, welcome, Awana. And Flat said, get Mr. USA Tony at his dang chicken wings, Danny boy.
Tony with his
It's not
chicken
Danny
wings.
Boy Flat. It's Big Fat Whale. So
yeah, well, yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Anyway, to the right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow.
Hello.
Jimmy coming out of Friday.
Yeah.
Great interview last week with Sabu. Thoughts?
I don't even know if I can sum it up and do it justice. Sabu was, for me, I have never been more nervous about somebody coming in because I always found him to be very mystique-filled. You would hear things about his behavior. He trashes this room. This happens. He does this. He's a spark of just controversy normally from what we read about him. So I was nervous. After we met him, after the day was done and the interview was done and the goodbyes were said, that is one of the best damn people I've ever met come through these doors. Sabu is an angel. I love Sabu. Absolutely do, and I care what happens to him, and I hope he's able to get through this right now, because that was tough, man. I have never seen Sabu speak like that publicly. And I'm not saying it because we were sitting here. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I've never seen Sabu open up like that before. And I was just amazed. I'm like, oh, my God. I didn't know Sabu was this way. But Rob Van Dam tried to tell us he's a great guy. He's a real guy.
Yep, he is.
And that's what I feel like we met. We met the real Sabu, I love him.
One thing I'll share with everybody is that at the end of the interview, after the cameras went off, the three of us had a long hug.
Yeah.
Which,
and it was organic. It just kind of
I felt like we kind of gave him some relief, and he got the opportunity to
get some shit off his chest.
some shit off his chest, and I think he was grateful for that. So anyway,
he was great.
We're hoping all is well. A Mess says horror movies from the 80s to watch. You need to listen.
Hit it.
Critters 1 and 2.
Critters is good.
Fright Night.
Fright Night's great.
Return of the Living Dead.
That is fantastic and underrated.
The Burning.
The Burning with Cropsey? Wow, bro. Nice. Go on.
The Thing.
The Thing, John Carpenter's remake of the original from the 50s. Oh, my God. It's fantastic.
And don't forget Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Gotta throw Elvira in there. What are we talking here? Nice list. Nice. Take notes, Matt.
What are you thinking, Matt?
I haven't heard half those films. So.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are you guys going to dress up for Halloween by any chance?
What?
Probably not.
Okay. Are you going to go egging?
No.
What day does Halloween fall on?
Wait. I think it's on a Sunday.
Okay, so we will have a show before Halloween. You and I must dress up.
I dress up every week.
No,
it's the Pharaoh.
but we have
what
to
do you
really...
Want?
I'm going to dress up as
Don't
Big
you like
Fat,
my
I'm gonna
costume?
Dress up
It's
as
horrifying.
Can I dress up as Big Fat Whale and you dress up as one of his guests?
No. Can I be Marty?
You can be Marty.
Marty might get mad, though. What are you doing there, Farrell?
By the way, Marty called me today. Just wanted everybody to know.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance, guys, JT, thank you. Thank you so much for the kind compliments about the interview.
Thank you, sir.
Marty has gotten himself a pig. He just called me, and he was very excited to tell me about his pig today.
Yeah. And
we're not talking about Marati. We're talking about...
No, that's a whale. Get your stuff correct. Whales swim, pigs wallow
He got
in mud.
himself an actual pig,
Right.
so if any of you guys... A Mess says it's on a Sunday, Halloween. So anyway, that Thursday, I'll dress up as Marati, you dress up as Marty.
Really?
And we'll have a Marty party.
How do I dress up as Marty? What am I going to wear?
Would be great.
I got to call Marty.
I'm going to
get
wear
some
sandals
tips.
with socks on.
Let me speak to Marty, please. I got to.
I'm going to wear sandals with socks. We'll have to move the table though, so you can see them.
And wear some goofy shirt that shows your chest and stuff like that.
You had a great interview with Tony Atlas.
That was nuts.
You and Tony Atlas and the Pharaoh.
And the Mega Powers 2.0.
With the Mega Powers 2.0. Thoughts on that?
Well, you want to know how I really think? Yeah. And Tony already knows. I thought it was hilarious. You prepared a script, right? And I knew beforehand that Tony's going to do his thing. And we both trust Tony, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't do what we do with Tony. He's awesome. But I just knew that script stood no chance in hell. Sorry, Vince, I had to. But Tony was just hilarious. This was so funny. Tony's like, I'll follow your lead, brother. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, sure you will. And it was in a loving way because Tony's great. But the second the show started, I'm like, all right, you're what? Hey, it's me. It was great. It was great. Tony
Yeah,
went
but
to
we
the
knew it
races.
was coming. I said, here's a script, but just get ready. It's
I
not
thought
going
it
to
was
be
hilarious.
anything.
And by the way, Tony was very good. Props to Tony Atlas. He asked some great questions. I felt comfortable with him.
802 says it was a great interview.
It was thank you, 802.
And Tuesdays with Tony is doing very well.
Tuesdays with Tony is great. I was just enjoying. I'm enjoying everything we're doing with Tony, and I know Tony's enjoying it too, and he deserves to be happy after all the BS.
Davio B says, if you want to be Marty, just wear an Atlanta hat and some sunglasses, and the Atlanta hat crooked.
Is that it?
And then go.
What, an Atlanta Braves hat or something?
Loose.
Okay.
This is not a joke. He did get a pig. He did get a pig.
Yeah,
and
it's no joke. Why don't you tell him the little the photo we shot at the diner?
Yeah, Farrell was eating bacon. We took a picture, sent it to Marty. Said, we're eating your pig.
We're so kind.
Lewis also saying 24 years since the great Brian Pillman passed away.
Wow, man.
Phil, welcome. Maria, welcome. All right, guys. So Farrell, check this out.
Yeah, what do you got? And welcome, guys. What do you got?
Got HBO Max, right? And on HBO Max, there was this docu-series, right? It's called The Way Down. Everybody, I recommend this.
The Way
Down. God, Greed, and the Cult of Gwen Shamblin.
What is this?
Gwen Shamblin.
Is this one of your crazy stories? Go ahead.
Well,
why do you
her
do
rise
this?
of fame as an influential religious leader who convinced her followers that God had given her the key to permanent weight control.
Ooh, someone's preying on people.
Which she reveals in a trailer in The Matter of the Heart. After rising to fame with her Way Down workshop, a Christian-based diet program that preached slenderness is next to godliness.
Oh, boy.
Gwen Shamblin Lara founded the Tennessee-based church. The series of official synopsis reads per HBO, despite a carefully curated image,
boy.
Lara and the church soon field accusations of emotional psychology and physical abuse and the exploitation of their alleged cult-like practices. So she started with weight loss, and I remember in the early 90s when I saw this when I first got out of the military, I almost laughed, like, what is this? This became such a church, and the things... So, guys, you got to watch this documentary. It starts off really, really slow, but as this church starts to become a cult, it's like they start talking about controlling your children, where you beat your children into submission. Actually, two parents kill a child and go to jail for life. She denied doing that. She preaches to her members never to get a divorce because it's against the Bible. But she meets this former actor who played Tarzan in Tarzan in the City.
Sure.
She divorces him and marries this guy.
Right.
She does come to her demise early this year in May. Her plane crashed in Tennessee, and they passed away, a bunch of elders of the church, along with herself and her husband.
Okay.
Her church is now run by the family members.
Right.
So I know how much you like cults.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
Well,
yeah.
You do like a certain cult leader.
Are you going to do this Charlie Manson thing again?
Well, I'm gonna.
You think Charlie Manson ever did what this thing did to how many people? Millions? Are you talking millions?
Millions.
The family was like 14 people who needed a bath. How does that compare to millions of people fucking frauded and ruined?
Different time, dude.
You know? Yeah, different time. This is a steaming pile of shit right here, this person. Not that Charlie was any fucking, boy, he's a steaming pile of shit too.
Right.
But,
right.
I mean, come on, let's keep this thing fucking real as possible. This is insanity. And by the way, I love how it all starts with preying on the weak, the people who think that they can't lose weight. If I got a solution for you. It's God. How dare you?
May I interrupt you, though?
What?
The people that joined the church who were fat,
they
lost a lot of weight.
Oh, yeah?
And when they quit...
What'd she do, starve them to death and take all their money?
But when they quit, they got fat again.
Good for them. I hope they ate up. I hope they did. There's plenty of skinny people who don't live as long as some people who get very heavy. What's this God's intervention? God is next. Slenderness is next to godliness? What is this insanity? Where did you get this crap from?
Dude, this documentary is...
And by the way, I'm not one of those people, by the way, when you read that at the end, that the plane crashed and stuff. No, that's not God making everything right again. That's a plane having a malfunction and the plane crashed.
And again, it was her husband who was flying the plane. It's like, will anyone learn? I know that if you get a lot of money, all of a sudden you want to start to learn how to fly planes, but nothing ever comes good at people flying their own plane.
I was 11 years old when I heard that Thurman Munson had crashed his plane, and my first thought was, why the hell are you flying? What is going on here?
Think of all the famous people that
Why,
died flying
Thurman?
their own plane.
Yeah, what are you doing,
Name the
Thurman?
list.
Well, there's been others. I don't know.
Randy Rhoads.
Well, he wasn't flying it, but he was in it. He wasn't flying it. There are a bunch that. Wait a second.
John F. Kennedy Jr.
What about Roy Halladay, the famous pitcher? The Hall of Fame pitcher who just passed away not that long ago in a plane crash.
yeah,
That
that's
Roy
right.
Halladay was one of the
Yes.
died at like 40 years old. That guy was great.
But he was also high as hell, too. So.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Did John Denver pilot his own thing?
Yes,
Please
he
tell
did.
me. Oh my
Yes, he
God!
did.
Oy, this is not
Davio B. Charlie Manson was almost a Beach Boy. Not really.
good. Wait a minute. He wasn't almost a Beach Boy, but he was almost a collaborator.
Loose Cannon,
with the Beach
JFK
Boys.
Jr., absolutely. 802 Blues, Bruce Dickinson flies his own plane.
Yes,
you
he
better
does.
call that guy and you better tell him to stop.
Bruce is level-headed, clean.
Kobe Bryant.
That was awful. That was awful, man.
Dude, just don't fly your own plane. How about that?
How about Buddy Holly and Richie Valens? Oh, we won the coin toss. Guess what?
Well, they weren't flying, but they were
But
no crop
yeah,
plane.
but again, it's another tiny little plane. Go on the big ones if you got a better chance. These little
Wow.
planes are no good.
I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monty and the Pharaoh, Wisteria Hall, led by our own Jimmy Farrow, along with his partner Bart Griggs. As part of the band, Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dream, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain, and, of course, the Monty and the Pharaoh theme song, Riding High.
Yeah.
You could go to Wisteria Hall's YouTube page. Please give them a like and subscribe. Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation.
Thank you.
Monty and the Pharaoh can be seen on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monty and the Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Watch us on our Monty and the Pharaoh Twitch TV page, channel 115. Times have changed if you're in New York.
Right.
They've changed us from 9:30 to 10 o'clock on
that.
Tuesdays, and on Saturdays,
I like that.
11:30 p.m.
I love
And on
that.
channel 20, Tuesdays at 1 a.m.
Pharaoh time.
You like that?
I'm not sure how many other people's times it is, but it's my time.
We'll be right back with If You're Going to Trust One Person, Let It Be Yourself.
See you in a sec.
Hi, it's John from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV, produced out of Long Island, New York. Again, everybody, we want to make that announcement that ESO has created the individually numbered Monty and the Pharaoh parody Macho Man t-shirts. They're individually numbered. You could go to ESO's website and also soon the Monty and the Pharaoh website and get your orders in, guys. It's a great gift for the holidays.
Yeah.
They're fairly cheap and enjoyable, and it's a good way to show your support to the show. We'd greatly appreciate it. Got a bone to pick there, Pharaoh.
Matt, did you put up the picture of Charlie when we were doing that last segment there, brother?
No,
Is he up there now?
he's there now.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm partial to Charlie Manson, but hey, man, check out that beard and that long hair. that guy rocks for a wacko. Anyway, yes, he was actually almost a member of the Beach Boys. He actually wrote a song that they took and didn't give him any credit for. And then promised him a record deal and didn't give it to him.
And then they put a swastika on his forehead.
He was kind of upset.
I guess
What a dick he was. What is he thinking?
What a jackass.
Yeah, a bit of a jackass
Anyway,
there.
he's gone now.
Yeah, he sure is.
Gone now.
Or is he?
Gone now. Well, that's true. That's a good point.
Helter-skelter.
Or he could be with that chick that just from that church that passed away.
Yeah.
Lots of anniversaries, some good, not so good, right?
Okay.
Second year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Your boy Phil Brooks had his weekly speech that he does now.
Yeah.
And says to the
I know
fans,
who Phil is. Yeah,
are you tired yet? And I thought to myself,
yes.
Yes, I am. I'm sick of your stupid Pepsi tattoo on your arm, and you're stale and old. And please get off my television, Phil. That's what I thought. Farrell, what did you think?
You know what? I'm not gonna pull any punches here. I don't like this CM Punk. Boo. So far.
Wow.
Yeah, boo.
Booing him.
Well, he keeps wrestling. I understand he's putting over the young guys and all that other good stuff. This is not what I had in mind for CM Punk, nor did I have in mind to see him in the announcing booth every week. Or, because it comes out and go, guess who I'm wrestling on Friday? It's Wednesday. Get in the fucking ring. No, seriously, what are we bringing
I
you
just
back
hate
for?
the love fest.
I'm just going nice and slow and pacing
I
myself.
just
Get
hate
in
the
the
love
ring!
fest, dude.
What
It's
love
like,
fe- Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm so glad to be here. Oh.
Wait a minute. I told you before. Here he is. Punk. They'll do anything that this guy does. They'll love anything. Here he goes. He comes out and he doesn't say anything. He puts the mic to his ass and he farts really loud, right? That smells awesome! That smells awesome! It's ridiculous with these people. Well, it doesn't matter what the guy does. I'm not thrilled with this. This is not... And I love CM Punk.
That smells awesome.
I'm serious. But I'm not too happy with Phil.
Oh, my God.
I'm not too happy with Phil. And he's talking shit about Hogan, which I addressed on Farrell's Corner, so I'm not happy with Phil. Shut up, Phil. Get in the ring and wrestle.
Well, to top it off, AEW also announced the new TBS championship for the women's division starting next year.
Lame. Very lame. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I like when it used to be, when you're the television champion, you're the television champion. I'm the TBS champion. Oh, I guess if we were on Spike TV, I'd be the Spike TV champion. Does that channel even fucking exist
Dude,
anymore?
I friggin' hate that, dude.
I don't like it. I think it just...
Oh, Loose Cat says Farrell turning heel on his boy Punk.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit like De Niro would say, a little bit. I'm not happy with this direction with CM Punk. I'm just not.
People want to know, where's your camels? You got Lucky Strikes?
I got, as I told the folks last week, and thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. I like non-filtered cigarettes, and right now in the market, and for the last almost 100 years, there's only 3 that really count, and it's Camels, Lucky Strikes, and Pall Mall non-filters. And this week, this is what's available, because not too many people, like you said, it takes a really tough guy to smoke a non-filtered cigarette. There ain't too many out there doing it. So
Maria Davis says,
me.
if gentleman Chris Adams would have lived,
how great.
How do you think he would rate over CM Punk?
How great. That's such an interesting question, and I would really want to dive into some of the tapes to go back to give a better, more mature answer, but Chris Adams was great. And I feel like I'm getting goosebumps. I thought Chris Adams was amazing. So, yeah, who knows where he could have gone or what he could have done at the end. Didn't come way before it should.
That whole crew. Gino Hernandez.
Devon
Eric's.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that could have been done with that.
Yeah,
in a bigger
By the way,
stage.
that's a killer question. That's an awesome question.
It is.
I'm not sure. I guess we'll never know. We can only speculate. But boy, was he on track to do some serious, lasting impressions, as he already did. What else you got?
Is MJF stepping over the line?
With what?
Talking about Darby Allin's uncle, which is a true story. And I understand they cover it with each other.
Yeah.
Metheny, the whole Metheny thing.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the passing of Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
Is there a point where it's over the line?
Well, isn't it up to Darby to say behind the scenes whether or not this is over the line? I think that this is Darby Allin's call. That's what I think. It's his family. He must have run it by the people. If he's okay with it, then that's the bottom
How about
line.
to say that you look like one of those Columbine kids that murdered those children?
Yeah, that's getting a little stupid. You know what else?
So whether Darby said, "Hey, that's a great idea,"
well, okay,
to me, that's really
But do you
stepping
think,
over the
You
line.
think Darby said that was a great idea?
Well, he let it happen, right?
He did let it happen. You know what I thought was the worst thing ever was that wasn't it Paige that said to Charlotte something about Reed Flair? That time, the poor kid who killed himself.
Okay, I agree.
That was
but that was
that
at
was
least
just
in the
no
family.
good.
That was at least in the family,
yeah,
right?
but man, that was
You're
no
talking about
good.
people that lost their
Paige,
children.
But
you're talking about people who lost their children, though.
Yeah,
dude.
no, that's awful. I just think that's shit. So yeah. Yeah, and where's Tony Khan with his righteous
Thank you!
morals?
Thank you!
Oh, we can't have Hulk Hogan on, but I'll let you say that.
Yeah, exactly.
What fuck kind of shit are you smoking? Send me some.
Yeah,
I want to be that psychotic when I grow up.
Oh boy, you are so right,
what
man.
the hell?
Oh my God. 802
Oy.
says that was great stuff. Not
Right.
saying it wasn't entertaining, 802. What I'm saying is, did it step over the line? Think about it. If you were a parent who lost their child,
don't get me
and then their
started.
other child loved wrestling,
Right.
and that comment was made,
Yeah, I might be pretty pissed
right?
off.
Is that, you know,
Yeah, I could see that. The
More
way you
Sanctum
put that,
welcome.
yeah.
that was a 3-week feud with no blow-off, MJF and Brian Pillman Jr. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
totally
I
agree.
already said it. Pillman Jr. to me doesn't have it.
Leave him
Farrow
alone.
does like Pillman
I like
Jr.
him. I think he's got
I
tons
think
of potential.
I don't think Pillman Jr. can carry the load. I honestly don't.
We'll find
Maybe
out.
he can in the future. I'm not so sure.
I don't think he's ever going to be like a Kenny Omega or something, but I think that, you know.
Another anniversary, Wolfie Van Halen mourns the death of Eddie Van Halen. Yesterday was the anniversary. I miss you so much, it hurts. I'm not okay. I don't think I ever will be okay. He wrote in a heart-wrenching letter.
First of all, I can't believe it's been a year. It feels like a week ago that Eddie
Yeah.
Van Halen died. So the fact that a whole year has passed, oh my Lord, before I know it, I'm going to be 200 years in the rearview mirror, if that's how fast time flies, because that did not feel like a year.
If I could just interrupt you,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose your train of thought.
That's all right.
More Sanctum says, I'd be on a death vendetta if someone were to say that about my parents
Agreed.
on TV.
No, totally agreed, man. And by the way, thank you. I love the comments that Moore's been writing lately, so thanks for that. But yeah, I it's hard to disagree with that, man. It's hard to disagree with that.
to Wolfie.
Getting back to Eddie and Wolfie. You know, this is one of those father-son relationships that I don't think I'll ever be able to fully grasp, because they must have had some relationship.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, my God. I mean, yeah, a parent always, you know, a father usually roots for. I'm sure a father's happy with whatever child he gets, but if you get a son, you always hope that they'll grow up to be like you and like the things you like, so you could share with them and stuff like that, and they're a success. And all. My God, his kid turned out to be talented. You know, his kid turned out to be talented. So now we got to jam with his kid. I mean, like when we were kids and Dad would take us to the ball game, it was exciting. Hey, son, let's go play in front of 100,000 people together. What? Imagine how awesome that must have been between father and son. I cannot even begin to absorb how much love those two felt for each other, you know? And by the way, his new stuff is actually pretty damn good.
That's very good.
Wolfie's pretty damn good.
He is pretty good.
You know?
Davio B says out there, I'm willing to comfort Valerie Bertinelli.
Wow. Who wouldn't want to comfort Valerie Bertinelli?
I agree.
I mean, how can you
Even at
argue
her
with that?
advanced age.
And he would be happy to do it one day at a time.
Oh, loving it.
Had to. I had to.
So let me ask you this, Farrow.
Yeah, what do
do
you
you
got?
think Michael Anthony regrets not clearing the air with Eddie before he passed? Michael Anthony, obviously the famous bassist
wow, now you
for
put me in
Van Halen.
You put me in a funny spot now, because as loved as Eddie was, Eddie had serious mood swings. Eddie was a privately somewhat of a tortured artist, and he acted that way sometimes towards people he loved. I don't think that he parted ways with Michael Anthony in a very good way. I do think that Michael Anthony should have felt pissed off. Michael Anthony is a very underrated aspect of Van Halen, okay? Very underrated.
By the way,
Yeah.
Phil chimes in, Davio, don't tell her one day at a time. And then Maria says, she's already married. All right, go ahead.
There you go. And those are the facts of life. Oh, I had to throw in another
Oh,
sick-
my God.
Ay, ay, ay. Boy, was that cheesy. Anyway, again, I can't, I don't know how Michael Anthony feels, though, but
I
man,
really don't know where you come up with some of this stuff.
I
dude.
don't know either.
You are
but-
brilliant sometimes.
well,
I got to
you know,
admit.
well,
Farrow's brilliant, guys. That guy
was-
comes off.
was
just-
really
Go ahead.
really good drugs back in the 80s. It sharpened my skills. What? Anyway, wouldn't you be pissed? You're in Van Halen. You get booted for and I'm sure he probably screamed nepotism. What? You're replacing me with your son?
Life is short, man. And it's like, you know what? Then people pass, and then you regret it.
Right.
It's like the good times
Right.
with Eddie got to outweigh the bad times. And I understand people get into fights, but in the end, go ahead.
Can I just blame Sammy? It's Sammy Hagar's
That's
fault.
easy.
He's a dick. Sammy Hagar's a dick.
Wow.
Haven't you heard enough things about him? He's a jackass. You know?
He's pretty good.
And my buddy down in Florida, Ralph, doesn't like him either. Hey, Ralph, what's going on?
Smartphone, welcome, brother. Good to see you, my friend.
Who was a better vocalist to you? Who did you prefer in Van Halen? David Lee Roth
Who did
or
I
Sammy
prefer?
Hagar?
Who was the better
did you
vocalist?
prefer?
That's a trick question.
No, not really. Who did
I
you
preferred David.
So did I.
Sammy was a much better singer.
Technically.
David was a much better entertainer.
Yeah.
But if you really listen to Van Halen,
Yeah.
Van Halen is early rap. He raps
In
most
many
of
ways.
his songs.
In
You
many
know what
ways
I'm saying?
in many ways he
Where
does.
Sammy's got, can I say, as good a vocals maybe as you do.
Sammy's got some serious range. I'll give you that. I think that's Sammy's greatest, attribute is his high range. But I'll take David Lee with his break screaming, screams and everything. I just thought that David Lee Roth was the best. He was
Yesterday
great.
was the birthday of the great Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino held the WWF World Heavyweight Championship for more than 11 years for 4,040 days.
Wow.
Thoughts on the great Bruno Sammartino?
Well, for me, it all begins with Bruno Sammartino. I actually remember the first time I glanced at Bruno Sammartino, I was at my grandfather's house. It was the 1970s, back when you had to stand up and walk over to the television set to change a channel. So I did, and I'm flipping channels, and what do I see? George Plimpton's Wide World of Sports that every week would feature a Muhammad Ali or a Reggie Jackson or a Julius Erving. Not that week. That week he was featuring Bruno Sammartino, professional wrestler. And I really didn't know that much about professional wrestling. If anything, that got me interested. Bruno got me interested. I think they showed him pulling up in a Rolls Royce. And they were like, guess what? Pro wrestling is money. See, even then, they're talking about money.
Absolutely.
Even then, you know.
Ray Sully says Michael Anthony was a great Michael Anthony was a backup singer.
An amazing backup singer.
There.
Amazing harmonies. Him and Eddie together were like gloves. He was amazing. He's very underrated.
So for the younger fan, do they know Bruno Sammartino? What did Bruno mean to you in this life of wrestling with you?
When it comes to the sport aspect of the old days of pro wrestling, he's Babe Ruth. When it comes to the wrestling we know today as far as the sports entertainment and WrestleMania, Hogan's Babe Ruth. So to me...
Wow, good. Very
good.
Very
so
good.
To me, Bruno was the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling before Hogan became the Babe Ruth of sports entertainment. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's real cut and dry, but that's how I see that.
As the years go by, will Bruno be forgotten?
No way. Never. Never. Never, 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 never. The name itself, Bruno Sammartino, was memorable.
Dude, you got fans out there that join wrestling. They know Stone Cold Steve Austin forward. You heard Atlas, right?
Sure.
No one remembers the old guys. Does
Sure.
Bruno Sammartino fall between the cracks after a certain amount of time?
I don't believe he ever will, just like Andre the Giant. No, I don't think he will. I think the name is big enough and did more than enough.
Again, favorite Bruno moment for me, and again, this is later on in Bruno's career, when Randy Savage crushed the larynx of Ricky Steamboat with the ring bell.
Right.
He's being interviewed by Bruno.
You piece of trash.
And he calls him a piece of trash, and here you go.
By the way, Bruno could move really well, even in his older days.
Great shape.
That match with Randy was fantastic. The one I
Was.
just recently watched. It was great.
And the Piper's Pit, who could forget that? Madison Square Garden with Bruno
Oh,
Sammartino.
my God. Sitting across from each other. Boy, Piper insulted the shit out of him.
That was so good.
And you couldn't do that today. No. Some of the things he was saying to Bruno.
Oh, no, you can. You can say you look like you crawled out of Columbine.
Oh, that's right. So Bruno, they could do it on AEW.
Yes.
They couldn't on Vince's,
not on Vince's
show.
program.
Very interesting.
Well,
good point.
Another shot.
There you go.
All right, we'll be right back after this commercial break with if you're going to trust one person, let it be yourself.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral. For all your dog daycare and overnight care, call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
All All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty DeFaro, produced out of Indie Music TV in Long Island, New York. Some comments on Bruno. We got Davio B, Bruno Sammartino, slamming. Hey, Sax Calhoun.
Nice.
Let's see
600 pounds or so.
Bruno,
Nice.
Hogan, Rick, Stone Cold on my Mount Rushmore, PJ Taints. That's a good Mount Rushmore,
nice.
man.
Very nice.
Davio B, Bruno should automatically be the first face on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Can't argue that point.
That's hard to
at
argue.
all.
I can see somebody feeling that way, for sure.
Let me see here.
Bruno.
Even horrible wrestlers will never be forgotten. This is from a mess. For example, the Giant Gonzalez.
Right.
They should put him in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Why?
Smartphone says the TV show puns was a riot, Pharaoh.
TV puns?
Yes.
Have I ever seen that? What's TV puns?
You know, like your Facts of Life jokes. And
Oh,
that's a pun.
Oh, okay. Did you ever? What was that show? Crank
Not a
Yankers
bun, it's a
or
pun.
whatever it
Crank
was. That
Yankers?
was fucking great. Remember that show?
Of course.
Shit was
that long ago, though.
hilarious.
You're funny, dude.
Believe it or not, it was like 15 years ago. I don't want to scare you.
All right, so look, a few shows ago, we spoke about Dark Side of the Ring tackled the infamous plane ride from hell, a nightmarish transatlantic flight. In 2002, saw the intoxicated wrestlers brawl with each other mid-flight and reportedly harassed flight attendants on board. It was during the flight the WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair allegedly pulled one of his famous
Yeah, the
pranks.
helicopter weenie trick. Right.
So
Helicopter weenie.
I received a message from Busted Open's own host, Dave LaGreca.
Oh, hi there, Dave. Okay.
Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio, and he sent a
Okay.
message in, and he wanted some points to be cleared up about our video.
That's fair.
All right.
What did he? What's he got? What do you got, Dave?
Number one, I need you to respond to this.
Okay.
He wants it to be made clear, and again, we checked these facts, so I will apologize after you say the statement. He wants it clear to everybody out there watching it that he was only married 3 times, not 4 times. Only 3 times. Pharaoh?
Well, okay. Well, I'm actually glad that it wasn't 4 times for his sanity and his sake. Because I tried that trick 1 time. I am not trying that trick twice. So I'm actually impressed that Dave tried it 2 more times. He's pretty tough.
Well,
it's pretty tough.
you know,
I don't know if I could do that.
In the video.
How'd you do it, Dave?
In the video, we had some
Sorry.
fans like Phil and some other people who were saying, you know, that LaGreca, we were talking about the loyalty to Tommy
Right.
Dreamer, of course.
Yeah.
And that
Wait a minute. What loyalty?
Well, that's what the fans are saying. That
Right.
he was married, you know, multiple times, and I think I said 4 times. So, Dave, we want to apologize that
It's only 3.
it wasn't 4 times. It was only 3.
Yeah.
We do understand that your wives do have a sell-by date. So once they reach the age of 30, you do divorce them. I think that your present wife is not sellable anymore because she's way past her sell-by date, and that milk is sour.
I was just gonna
so
say,
when is
what-
that divorce going
This
through?
is awful. I don't know. When is it going through?
She's well past 30.
Wow, though. Wait a minute, though. When they hit 30, he usually replaces.
Yeah, it's like
Yo, man.
expired. You know, sell before.
He's like a wrestling radio rock star. I kind of like that philosophy. 30 out.
Yeah.
Dave rocks. That's good. Good job, Dave. Wait a minute, though. Don't get married
Roy
again.
Batiste says Jim Ross should have fired Flair.
Yeah, but they never would have because he's untouchable. He's Ric Flair. I would have fired him. And his sagging boobies. What year is this? His boobs are sagging in 2002.
Oh, yeah,
You're out of
absolutely.
here with your saggy boobs.
So,
Rick.
Dave, we will retract that. So we do apologize.
Yeah,
We
you were
understand
very
that
gentle on that
you've
one,
only
Mike.
kicked 2 of your 3 wives to the curb,
this
and
is
we do,
awful.
and they're sitting in a box.
Oh,
He
we're gonna get another email. You realize
he also
this.
wrote that
Right.
he felt me calling him a mealy worm was out of line.
What was wrong with that? What, all of a sudden mealy worms or like, not a cool thing? I love mealy worms. Something wrong with a mealy worm?
I think people. I think
it's an honor to be called
I
a
think
mealy
fish
worm.
enjoy mealy worms. They eat them.
Yeah.
Rats
Yeah.
enjoy mealy worms.
Yeah. What did he
Right?
want you to call them? You got anything else besides mealy
Just trying to
worm?
think like what else eats mealy worms. Fish, rats.
I bet you stray cats will eat mealy
stray
worms.
cats.
Me,
yeah.
if I'm really hungry,
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
eat a mealy worm with a little salt. Although they are a little salty to begin with. Oh, never mind.
Now, when I say mealy worm, it's not the worm in the bottle of the tequila. That's not a mealy worm.
No,
a mealy
that's
worm
a drunk-ass worm
is those
at
like
the bottom of it.
big, thick, red blood worms that crawl around the dirt. When you see them, you go, ugh.
You got a picture,
and you just want to crush them.
You got a picture of a dead one like you put up with the deer a couple of weeks ago?
No, I don't.
A picture of a dead mealy
Matt,
worm.
if you could find a dead picture of a mealy worm, that would be great.
Matt, don't find a picture of a dead mealy worm. What kind of freaking projects do you put him on?
So, Dave,
he's busy producing.
I can't apologize for calling you a mealy worm because
terrible. He's going to be upset.
He is a mealy worm. He's mealy.
Okay, all right.
Part number 3, he wanted
way.
to discuss
Fine.
that he needed
What?
to address the Tommy Dreamer issue.
I told you he was very smart to do that because he was calling attention to the show. He's calling attention to himself. That's smart. I didn't say that it was.
Hence the mealy worm comment.
Yeah, I didn't say it was the Pope thing to do, but I actually understood why he did it. It makes sense
so you
to me.
give him street cred.
Yeah, and he discards at 30. That's like rock star.
So
I kind of
so
like
you give him
it.
some street cred, right?
Yeah.
Dumps his wife at 30.
Yeah.
His good friend that helps him build his great show, or supposedly great show that he airs all the
that's
time.
being a mealy worm.
And then he kicks him to the curb
that's
too.
That's not being nice.
And he gets
that
all
doesn't
props.
rock.
Right?
No, that's not cool. Not that part.
So then you would say he's a mealy worm.
Yeah, he's definitely a mealy worm when it comes to.
Oh look, there's the mealy worm.
Is that the mealy?
That's a mealy worm.
That's
right
a
there.
mealy worm, man. That's not the way
Mealy worm?
That's not the way I pictured it.
And the final point, everybody.
Again, another point.
That Tommy was much better than Paint.
I disagree.
And I'm telling you, everybody, these are actual messages sent to the Monty the Pharaoh show.
I saw them. No. You leave dried paint alone. Again, we have to defend dried paint.
If everybody out there, please vote Tommy Dreamer or Dry Paint. Please send your comments. I'd like to know what everybody thinks. Personally, I think Dry Paint destroys Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer is the worst wrestler of all time, and I do mean that.
Okay, I don't believe he's the worst wrestler of all time, but I do believe 9.5 dried paint cans out of 10 are way better than Tommy Dreamer. 9.5. That only leaves a half a can of dried paint. That's not much.
So, again, we do apologize,
To
David,
Dried Paint.
for.
I don't apologize to him. Apologize to dried paint.
Well, Dried Paint, we are sorry,
Yes.
and David, we're sorry that you only dumped 2 of your 3 wives, and now they're
one of your
homeless.
3 hosts.
Yes.
Co-hosts. He's doing a lot of dumping.
All right,
He might be more comfortable doing a show out of the bathroom with all that dumping.
We'll be
Anyway.
right back with, if you're going to trust one person,
Here comes the emails.
let it be yourself.
See you in a sec.
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast.
It's fucking hot in here.
Monty and the
It's
Pharaoh,
hot in this fucking room.
produced out of Indie Music TV.
The fuck?
PJ Tate says about Tommy Dreamer, he isn't the best wrestler, but he's a great guy, and Dark Side screwed up. I agree.
Yeah, I don't
they
like the
kinda
way
screwed him.
Yeah, they kind of cornered him the way they
A
put
mess
that.
says, sorry, Monty, Giant Gonzalez has held that title for I don't know how many years, speaking that Giant Gonzalez was a worse wrestler than Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
I got to disagree.
No. Don't do
Sorry,
that to Tommy.
miss.
I'm not. No. Come on. Tommy Dreamer is way better than Giant Gonzalez in a ring. However, Giant Gonzalez was more interesting to watch. That's not good news for Tommy Dreamer.
Roy Delaney says J.T. Smith of ECW was way worse than Tommy Dreamer in the ring. I don't even know what the hell J.T. Smith is. So that really says a lot. You remember J.T. Smith?
barely. Yeah, but I do barely. What was that? That C.W. Anderson. Oy. Never mind. Although
Wow,
he
you
could
don't like
actually
C.W.
wrestle
Anderson?
C.W. Anderson. Yeah, he was okay, but boy, did he not have a look. He's so not had a look.
Wow, Roy Batiste says Brandy Rose does nothing for me on AEW. Pretty face, but no talent.
Yeah, I totally agree. Brandy Rhodes is an absolute cash cow. Yuck. Blech. No thanks.
I personally like Brandy Rose.
How can you like her?
No, I don't.
Thank you. I thought you were going to start getting me going here.
She's hot, though.
Of course she's hot. What is that going to do with anything?
I don't know. Yeah, she dresses again. She doesn't do a two-piece and show midriff, right?
Right.
She does
Yeah,
this,
boo.
The one.
No, boo. I want to see your belly button.
So last week, you and Tony
guy.
Atlas interviewed Mega Powers 2.0.
Yeah.
The one thing Tony said that I found very interesting, I need you to weigh in on, is that Vince wants to destroy the WWE because he basically doesn't trust anyone and he wants to be last of the Mohicans. I thought that was a very, very interesting
Which
comment.
means something further than just destroy the WWE. Vince wants to kill wrestling in general so that there never is another WWE of any kind, that it's never as popular as it was when he did it. Very interesting. And as I said live when he was saying it, wow, that's megalomania. That's truly delusional if that's how Vince is thinking. I don't believe that that's how Vince is thinking. I would like to think that Vince is doing everything he can to make sure that his children and his family have a great company to continue running. I can't see Vince being like, screw the family, who cares? We're all rich the rest of our lives anyway. That's not how Vince operates.
Phil writes, you guys and Dreamer were at the MSG for Snooker cage match with Backlund, and we were there for that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see Tommy Dreamer there.
Was he there?
I don't
I know
know.
Foley was there.
Wait a minute, I did see Dreamer.
Selling hot dogs?
No, there was like a can of paint in like the 20th row against the wall. Was that can of paint?
That's right.
With the brush on
Seat
top.
15 needed a makeover. So
Matt, fan question. Tell me, quick answer. Smartphone says, I'd like to see viewers call in the show. Would you like to do a special call-in show where the viewers can call in? What do you think, Matt? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible. We can do that.
All right, so you're on vacation next week, so maybe the following week we'll just have a special viewers call-in show. Would you be interested in that, Jimmy?
Would that mean like we can actually talk to Maria and 802
Yeah, absolutely.
and some of the people out there? I would actually
Can we
like
do that?
I would
Yeah.
like that.
No,
All right.
absolutely. As long as they message in the chat, you can give them a private message. We can send them a link. They can pop in.
Okay.
All right.
Matt, just one thing though. You do have that feature that we had built, for the big mouths and the trolls. That if they try trolling us, their whole house blows up. You got that? You have that mechanism over there on the board,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, because I get sensitive. You know what I'm saying? So
You're
I,
right.
just in
That's why
case.
So you got it. In 2 weeks, we will have a special call-in show where we'll just take phone calls the whole show.
Interesting.
So don't embarrass us and not call in.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? And we're waiting for the phone to ring there, Edith.
So
That would not work.
do you believe that Vince would like to see the end of professional
No.
wrestling?
No, I don't believe that for some of this shit that people spread about Vince.
Well, Tony said it.
Tony might be off on that one. I can't believe. You know what though? Tony might not be off on that one. I guess I better reevaluate this because Tony actually knows Vince pretty damn well. What would make him say that? We're gonna have to talk to Tony about this one.
So
bro.
the
A
title of the
little more.
show is, if you're going to trust one person, let it be yourself.
Well, Vince lived.
Does
that.
Vince McMahon trust anyone?
I know he trusted Pat Patterson. I think it's fair to say that. I think he trusted Pat Patterson all the way to death, and Pat's gone now. I don't know if Vince has ever trusted anybody the way he trusted Pat. So maybe when push came to shove, it was Pat. And you know what, too? I know Vince trusts Linda, and that's and I'm sure he loves his children and everything like that. But I think that Linda, of course, first, and Pat Patterson are probably the two people that Vince has trusted in his lifetime. And I'm not so sure about anybody else. And to tell you the truth, that's probably the biggest reason why Vince did so damn well. He trusted his own vision. He had the right mind for the business. He had the pockets for the business, and he made his pockets bigger, and everything got bigger and better. And if you don't think it got better, then I'm sorry you missed the birth of WrestleMania, and you missed all those great WrestleManias over the years, and the changing from Hogan to the Bret Harts to the Shawn Michaels to the Stone Cold Steve Austins to the John Cenas to the
quick
Randy
comments,
Ortons
though.
to the Roman Reigns to the Edges.
Well-
I'm sorry you missed it all, but it was pretty good.
But Phil says
Yeah.
everyone tries to diagnose Vinnie Mac.
Yeah.
And then he writes Stone Cold Steve Austin, HBK, meaning did Vince trust them?
To a point. but not implicitly, to a point. I do believe that Pat Patterson, again, was probably the one that he trusted the most on a highest level of trust. Stone Cold Steve Austin, guys like him, they were a product and a friend, but I don't think that he gave them full trust. I think he kept his eyes on them, and he wasn't too thrilled when Stone Cold left, let's be serious.
Sure.
He flat out said he took his ball and went home. He was calling him a crybaby sissy live on the air, basically.
Maria says Vince only trusts Linda because Pat Patterson is dead.
Right.
That's good.
I'm with her. I'm absolutely with her on that.
Phil again says, hey, maybe Kevin Dunn.
I don't think so. I think on a professional level, he gets the job done for Vince, but I don't think that it's on the level of he can't do any wrong no matter what. I think Pat was on that level, and of course Vince's wife is in a completely other rarefied air with Vince and his heart.
So we talked about Wolfie with his great relationship with Eddie.
Yeah.
And how many people could be envious of that kind of father-son love.
I could see that, but
how do you think Vince's
personally,
senior
not myself,
and junior's relationship was?
It sounded pretty good. I mean, I never heard horror stories about it. It sounded like Junior totally. His father was stern, but his father was fair. We've heard how Vince McMahon Sr. was, and I think that there was a pretty good relationship there. He made his son work hard the right way. People forget that Vince Jr. set up the ring.
But they weren't. I mean, they weren't in each other's lives for a long time.
No, they weren't. But the moment that he got into his life, he took him under his wing.
Here's something interesting I didn't notice. Maybe you did.
What's that?
Big Busfetti says Vince trusted Mark Calloway, and now he trusts R-Truth more than anyone else in the roster. Ron Killings is one of Vince's best friends.
That is not a bad point at all. And
I did not know that.
That is not a bad point at all. I do know that he loves R-Truth. I do know that. Again, I'm not putting them on that level, though. I can't do that. I can't put them on a level of a Pat Patterson relationship. But I do know that Vince does love R-Truth, and I know Vince loves Taker. He does.
How do you think the fans will feel?
Yeah.
And if we're around?
Yeah.
The day that Vince McMahon passes.
Well, first of all, we better be around when Vince McMahon passes. Otherwise, wow, what happened to us? I mean, that would not be a happy ending. How do I think the fans will feel? What? Like which fans?
Any fan.
I mean,
Any fan.
what
AEW
kind of
fans? At some point you got the Vince McMahon haters, right? The Vince McMahon's blamed for everything, the way they treat wrestlers, what they did, whatever.
Let me tell you something. If Tony Khan has any of this so-called class that he always likes to put out there and stuff, if Vince McMahon passes away, bro, they better. And I'm talking to AEW right now. You better have a tribute to Vince McMahon. You better at least put up his picture at the beginning of your show and have a picture of in memory of Vince McMahon. You better, because I bet you every other damn company will do it. Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon.
Rob Delaney.
Oh my God.
Rob Delaney says he trusted Terry Garvin and Pat Patterson not to be creeps. That didn't work. Chime in on that.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, what am I going to say? That's true. That's true. What about Mel Phillips? How many years did he work there? What the hell was that? I'm not going to deny that stuff.
Again, you can't be everywhere in anything.
Trust
yes, you're ultimately
sure.
responsible, but you can't be there for everything.
Well, that was JR's take on
you
the
have to
plane
trust
ride
the
from
people
hell.
that work for you, right?
Right.
You have to trust them.
Right.
So Rob's point is clear. He's right.
Sure. And in that case, how can
not
you
on the
argue
Pat
that?
Patterson one?
Right.
Okay. There's stories. Look, we've had
several people.
We've had our friend,
right,
good friend of the show on.
That's not much of a clue. We have a lot of good friends.
The Ring Boy scandal.
Oh, sure, Cole.
Cole, right?
Yeah, sure.
So,
sure.
We had Lee Cole on.
Right.
He said a few things.
Right.
And, again, there's some culpability from Mr. McMahon because he owns the WWE.
Oh, yeah.
But, again, you can't be everywhere.
No, I don't think you can. And JR also, bore the brunt of that talent relations and
James Earl, welcome, brother.
Welcome. Jim Ross said it himself, though. He's like, I think that it's a little too much for me to have to be their babysitter. I can't be everywhere. Jim Ross said it himself, although he was on that plane. So he can't really pass the buck on that one.
So I ask you this, Farrow.
Yeah.
We spoke about the great Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
what does Vince McMahon mean to the Pharaoh? And when we talk about the Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
shouldn't the first face of the Mount Rushmore of wrestling be Vince McMahon? And here's my point.
Yeah.
I don't think many people can argue the greatest heel of all
Mr.
time
McMahon.
is Mr. McMahon.
He is.
The greatest promoter of all time for
Mr.
wrestling,
McMahon, Vince
Mr. McMahon.
Yep.
I hand it over to you, Farrell.
Okay, well, usually when we do this Mount Rushmore stuff, it's because we're choosing wrestlers. Regular full-time wrestlers who had long careers and all that other stuff. If you're choosing the Mount Rushmore for wrestling and you're including all aspects, Vince McMahon is the mountain. Then you can start putting faces on that mountain because he's the mountain. That's pretty much it. What does Vince McMahon mean to me? Vince McMahon is the architect of every last bit of my wrestling memories living and growing up in New York for decades and decades and decades. I form and shape my opinion based off WWF and the wrestling I watched and the wrestling it turned into. Yeah, I love the other companies too, but Vince was always first for me. If that turns some people off, I don't know why. I'm not turned off if you grew up in the Carolinas and loved Ric Flair. What do you care if this is what, did it for me? Wrestling is great across the board, but at the end of the day, the greatest, as you said, promoter, the greatest villain was Mr. McMahon. I don't think anybody has understood the mountain, the lengths that this business could reach better than Vince McMahon. He turned pro wrestling into a Super Bowl. It's called WrestleMania. I'd like to see somebody else do that. Okay? There was only one who could do that, and there was only one who did do that. And I don't want to hear about Starrcade, and I don't want to hear about how one time in North Korea, the leader forced 100,000, 200,000 people to go watch wrestling. I don't want to hear about it, okay? It's WrestleMania, it's the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, and it's the reason why we've got anything today on such a big level. I mean, we take for granted now, wrestling's slow. There's only 1 to 2 million people a week watching it. 1 to 2 million people watching wrestling during a slow period. Boy, oh boy, did Vince McMahon open up, what wrestling could be.
A lot of smart people out there.
Yeah.
Real quick, just train of thought. I'm sorry. A mess wrote, Monty, would you and the Pharaoh be interested in reading a short story, Who Goes There, by John Campbell Jr. from 1937, a.k.a. The Thing? I can send you a link. Yes, a mess. We definitely would. Definitely would.
Now, not to scare anybody, but when he said Who Goes There, I knew right away what that was.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm a horror nut. I need help.
Funny.
I knew right away.
So let me go back to Vince.
And it's awesome, too, by the way.
And let me go back to the ratings. Mm-hmm. We're in a different time.
Yeah, we
This
are.
is streaming,
Yeah,
right? Today's
sure.
generation doesn't, if you have kids out there, I'm pretty sure I'm right, and I probably could go to one of the younger ones via the producer, Matt. A lot of people don't even have cable anymore. They
Right.
stream everything.
Yeah.
You've got the WWE on Peacock where you can get all their information and everything you need 24/7. Right? You got it on YouTube. You've got it everywhere. Is wrestling a must-see anymore?
No, it's a casual.
But there isn't
It's a casual
much must-sees on TV anymore,
Right.
except for sporting events like baseball
Right.
or football or whatever floats your boat.
Right.
Or if you have your favorite show,
Right.
maybe it's a must-see.
Like Walking Dead or something?
But
Right.
it's a different world now, man.
It sure is.
It's a different
It
world.
sure is. And when you think about the hustle factor that Vince had to do to get people to spend their hard-earned money to pay for that pay-per-view, man, that guy was amazing. The shit he built.
Look, More Sanctum said he gave up cable 2012. Look,
There you go.
cable's $235. I don't blame anyone for giving it
Bro,
up.
I don't watch TV at all.
There you go.
I don't have a TV.
Wow, Big
I
Spot
almost
said, he
had
says,
one, but-
Vern Gagne was the most influential owner booker in modern history. He perfected and taught the art of selling and changed the way man wrestled. Not working holds forever. Wrestling needs this now. Here's the problem, Big. Vern's ego killed him. He let his ego get in the way of everything. People say Vince has got an ego. No, he had a business mind.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Yep. I actually thought that Vern Gagne just blew his own feet right off from stupidity, because he definitely had some things to work with there, that's for sure. I don't think he was the greatest promoter at all. I think he was a dope. I think that I remember when he was doing the Hogan Bockwinkel thing, and I remember reading from, because I couldn't see it. I was here on the East Coast reading the PWIs, and all I could think was, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
ESO creative. For me, it would be Bruno Hogan, Road Warriors, and Stone Cold. More Sanctum says WWE 80 million subscribers on YouTube. 80 million.
Case closed. Right there. Right there. Vince McMahon built an empire.
Rally writes, Vince created and made our greatest childhood wrestling memories of the golden era for the business of the 80s into wrestling in the early 90s.
Thank you.
And then, of course, the Attitude Eras. And that is saying it all about Vince McMahon. And the day we lose Vince McMahon will be a very upsetting day for the world
Oh, my
in
God.
general.
Did you hear the chain that I ran off before? Vince McMahon takes over. Hogan, Savage, Piper. Then you can go on to the next phase. Hart, Warrior, Michaels. You go to the next phase. Austin, Rock, Taker. You go to the next phase. Cena, Edge, Orton. You go to the next phase. Tribal Chief, Lesnar. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I just covered 40 years.
Chris Lee, Vince is a genius. Yes, he is.
He is a genius, and you haters, get over it. You know, he's a
Rally,
genius.
Vince is strictly all business. He made professional wrestling. So,
yep, he did.
We'll all be missing. Let's not forget that we'll miss Vince McMahon as an American.
Yes.
And what he cared for this country and the charities that he's given to.
Absolutely.
Look, is Vince perfect?
No.
But Vince also had to protect himself. And you know what? There's things that everybody does that makes people angry.
And he had to
or
protect himself in a real cutthroat business where everybody stabs each other. These people that they always say, oh, he screwed over this one or that one. Guess what? This one or that one has tried screwing him over many times.
All right, so before we go, we want to announce some upcoming shows. So we have on November 12th, just announced, we will have Superstar Bill Dundee and PG-13.
Wow.
That'll be on the 12th. That's a Friday starting at 8 p.m. So if you guys want to join us at 8 p.m., it'll go from 8 till about 10 p.m., where we'll interview PG-13 and Bill Dundee. And that's a father-daughter, father-son deal there.
Nice.
Don't know how their relationship is, so that could be very interesting.
Cool, man, cool.
And then on November 20th, Matt, what time is it November 20th? 11 a.m. on November 20th, we've got WCW star Ranger Ross in studio.
All right.
Along with, then afterwards will be the Perfect 10 Baby Doll.
Wow.
So remaking that interview where she was unable to make her flight the last time. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Very cool. I know you are.
I'm very, very excited.
Listen, these early start times, though, I got to make one request. Please, I don't want to eat at that shitty diner again.
No more.
We're winding up with more gas than my car out there.
Yeah, it's rough right here behind the board. Guys, you don't know what's going on right now.
Boy, it's hot in here.
Food poisoning to the max.
Oh, that bacon looked black.
All right, so next week is Thursday. Matt is taking a well-deserved vacation. I've got to talk. Yes. I've got to talk to the owner, make sure we have a producer
Where's
in
Honest
studio.
Abe? Are we going to have to call up Honest Abe?
We're going to have to call an Honest Abe.
Where's Honest Abe?
And then we'll post it. We'll make the banner. That following Thursday will be a pure call-in show. It would be fair to say it'll be called Ask Monty and the Pharaoh Anything.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay.
Right? And I mean anything. Just be respectful.
As long as it's not cranky anchors.
Well, just be respectful.
Yeah,
right?
You better be.
You know, you could say you suck,
we
but
can
do it
trace
the right
these
way.
phone calls and then rowboat across the pond and whatever.
But you could say Monty, you're fat, and that's fine.
Wow. Yeah,
just be respectful.
Yeah, okay.
Right? You think we could definitely handle that, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Monty, you're fat. Monty, you fat click. Whoa, I got him. What the fuck? Loser. Anyway, oh my Lord. Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then again for the Halloween show, I'll dress up as Big Fat Whale, and you'll dress up as Marty. We'll move the table. I'll wear the sandals with the socks.
Okay.
You'll wear your Atlanta Braves hat.
With a paper tooth?
You'll have your
Can I do a paper tooth like
that
Marty?
will be awesome.
Right, that should be okay.
Let's not forget, we want to thank you all for
up.
joining us. Don't forget Tuesdays with Tony Atlas. Seems to be doing very well.
Yeah.
The fan support there. I will tell you that Tony is so happy to be doing that show. And guys, once Tony gets more acclimated with the computer, We will be doing live shows where you can call in or maybe message him. Right now, if you want, go to the Monty and the Pharaoh webpage or our Facebook Live page, message us questions. I will send them to Tony, so Tony will answer them in those videos if you like, until he becomes more acclimated. And then in the middle of October will be the next show, where will be Sunny Beach, right? What is it, School Days? What's it called?
Sunny Days. With Sunny Beach.
And UWF Superstar Sunny Days. Raleigh says, I'd love to call into the Mr. USA. That's going to happen, man. We're just, we want him to be acclimated and be able to, handle everything properly. So right now we've got about 4 canned videos. I think there's 2. He'll be producing a few more, but there are some fan questions I got. He will be answering fan questions. So again, look, Big Fat Boston Whale's empty bank account is here. Did somebody say Big Fat Whale? Yeah, a few times, bro. We missed you.
His bank account is still empty.
And again, we'll be dressing up as Dan and Marty for Halloween, so that should be enjoyable.
God.
So next week we are.
Next week we are what?
We have super producer will not be in studio.
All right.
And then the following week it will be a pure call-in show, which should be fun. And
Matt,
then,
you better
again,
leave
the Halloween
instructions
show.
next week.
All right, I want to thank you all for joining us. This has been Mike Monty.
This has been the Pharaoh, and until next week, love you all. Later.